Welcome back to Banfield. If the world runs low on food, who gets to eat and who doesn't? It's a frightening question, and it's actually being considered by world leaders right now because the war in Ukraine could plunge the world into a food shortage. Let me explain a little bit that Ukraine and Russia together produce nearly 30% of the world's wheat supply, and the war has shut down grain exports from both of those countries. And while we here in the United States don't get a whole lot of our grain from them, there is an even bigger problem looming. Ukraine and Russia also produce a vast amount of the world's fertilizers. According to a senior analyst at the International Food Policy Research Institute, and I'll quote, "The biggest threat that the food system is facing is the disruption of the fertilizer trade. Wheat will impact a few countries. The fertilizer issue can impact every farmer everywhere in the world and cause declines in the production of all food, not just wheat." That certainly raised the alarm around the world. French President Emmanuel Macron said his government this week is considering a food voucher program. And supermarkets in Spain and Italy have already rationed the sale of some items like corn and sunflower oil. But they're over there and we're over here. Could it actually happen here in America? Ask your parents and then ask your grandparents, because during World War I, we got a taste of it. Food shortages forced President Herbert Hoover to launch a propaganda campaign trying to get Americans to eat less. And the slogans really took off, too, like "Food will win the war," "Meatless meals," and "Wheatless Wednesday." That campaign actually reduced national food consumption by, are you sitting down, 15%. We could kind of use that now. And then along came World War II. The United States had a full-blown food rationing system at that point. First it was sugar, and then came coffee, and that was followed by meat and cheese, and then milk. There were more propaganda posters, too, and this time the U.S. government gave every American, including babies, a book of ration stamps that they would have to bring to the grocery store with them when they shopped. A pound of bacon cost 30 cents back in 1943, but the shopper would also have to rip out and hand over 7 points to buy that bacon. And if you ran out of the ration points, well, that was your tough luck. And while this new war in Ukraine may have escalated the current food problem, there are a few other things that actually started it. The global pandemic and that pesky supply chain disruption, well, those are still an issue, right? U.S. food prices rose 1% just last month. That is the largest monthly increase since April of 2020. But get this, over the past 12 months, U.S. food prices jumped nearly 8%. And that, my friends, is the biggest jump since July of '81. We also have our own logistical problems here in the U.S. You might remember Hurricane Ida last year. That hurricane knocked out 2 large fertilizer plants located along the Gulf Coast. Those plants have really struggled to come back into service. And if that weren't bad enough, a fire took out another fertilizer plant, this one in North Carolina. So even if we ourselves wanted to make up the food shortages caused by the war, we probably could not do it. It is just another reminder that what happens in one part of the world can have a huge impact on the entire world, and why the NATO discussions going on in Europe right now could determine what is actually on your dinner table, and maybe more importantly, what isn't. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.